traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody, sometimes, He has set God Almighty, I feel so good. Oh yeah, one more time. Yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah. This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me.
Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown.
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody, sometimes, He has set God Almighty, I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah, good to me. One more time.
It's Wednesday, July 23rd. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network headquarters, corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can call and join the conversation. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And Gwen Jesus wept, says, Dallas, Texas, thank you for everything you have done. Reverend Wharton, thank you. And Nakiba Brown says, happy birthday to me. Well, happy birthday, Nakiba. She's already on. Now, let me say, there's a lot to talk about today. And I really am going to be watching your messages on the message page and phone calls. Donald Trump, the sitting president of the United States, has now accused the former president of the United States of treason. when in a question and answer session in the Oval Office on yesterday, he was asked about the continued Epstein scandal that he is in the middle of. And he says, well, why aren't y'all dealing with the cover-up and the treason committed right in this office, the Oval Office? And when further questioned, well, who are you talking about? Who? Obama was involved. Barack Hussein Obama, that's what he said. Y'all ever heard of him? For a sitting president to accuse a former president, in fact, that he succeeded, of treason is unprecedented, even for somebody as off the wall as Donald Trump. He said that they were trying to interfere with his being elected. They tampered with the election. Well, I don't even want to dignify with the defense, because if they tampered with it then, why didn't they tamper with it last year when Biden and Harris were in charge? I mean, it's just absurd on his face. But what it does say to me, I've been counseling people and been a preacher all of my life. I started preaching in public when I was 4 to congregations, all my life. Usually when a guy is gone as berserk as he's gone, it's because he's hiding something or he's shaking up. Now, I don't know, and I'm not going to be irresponsible like him. I'm not going to say what he's hiding. But this Epstein thing has got him crazy. One day it's put out Dr. King's files. Another day, y'all ought to lock up Obama. Another day, I'm going to fire the Fed chair. Anything to deflect from this. And if he had no concerns about the Epstein trial or the Epstein files, then why is he so out of control? Now, remember now, for 3 or 4 days, he wouldn't talk to the press at all. Yesterday was the first day, and he just couldn't take it. And he loved to throw black folks to the, we the meat you throw. Martin Luther King, Barack Obama. So if I didn't think he had something to hide, I think something now. Because it's like your children, when they start protesting too much, you know there's something happening. I remember when I started the television show, Politics Nation, 13 years ago. Spike Lee produced and cut my first commercial, and they had all these teleprompters, things out there they wanted me to read. And in the middle of the shoot, Spike Lee said, "Rem Al," because we've known each other for years. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Tell them about the blueberry pie." And I just ad-libbed telling the story because it was a true story. I told about how we'd come home, my sister and I, a sister 3 years older than me, and we'd sneak in the refrigerator and eat some of the blueberry pie that Mama told us don't eat. By the time Mama come home from domestic work, she look in the refrigerator and a little piece of the pie is gone. And she looked at us and say, "Who took my pie? Y'all ate my pie?" We said, no, we got blueberry pie all over our face. And that was my commercial, that the Republicans at that time had blueberry pie all over their face. We know who took the money. We know who cut the programs because they got the pie all over their face. That was George Bush was in office then. Same thing is applying now. Blueberry pie is all over Trump's face. You would not be out there every day trying to throw something else to distract attention if there wasn't something you was trying to keep everyone away from. Frederick McLeod is saying on our message board, Trump is trying to move the focus from him, another distraction. And Dahl says, totally agree with Frederick McLeod. And that's what I'm saying. You do not get that rattled. Because if y'all watched him yesterday, he was rattled. You don't get that rattled unless there's something that you don't want to have out. You don't have that. So let's talk about that, because that's clearly something in the news. And they're so protective of Trump that they are recessing the Congress early because they are afraid that if they took a vote, that all of the files from the Epstein case would have to go before Congress, and they can't even trust that some of the Republicans won't vote to deal with the files. So they dismissing early and letting them take their vacation after Labor Day from now. Sounds guilty to me or something. And President Obama, who usually doesn't respond to anything, his office said that it was bizarre and that they had to say something. And they've now discovered new photos and videos of Trump with the disgraced financier Epstein. And can you imagine that now the Deputy Attorney General is going to the jail to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in jail for sex trafficking with Epstein? Now, what are they going to tell her? They'll look out for her if she don't say nothing? I mean, it's almost unprecedented. Assistant Attorney General of the United States going to see a convicted felon in jail. Got 20 years. Yeah. Something don't smell right. Also, at the same time, President Trump's Labor Department is proposing more than 60 rule changes to deregulate workplaces. They propose that they want to repeal or rewrite over 60 workplace safety regulations, including minimum wage rules for home health aides, lighting requirements on construction sites, enforcement standards for mine ventilation and safety training. And workers' advocates are saying, no, this will be terrible. And so we got a lot to talk about today, from Trump obviously in panic mode to Barack Obama having to defend himself against scurrilous charges, to what the Labor Department is changing. In the middle of all this, they're changing government and the rules, and whatever else is on your mind, wherever you are in the country, around the world, whatever you want to express and be heard, all you have to do is call me, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. With the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
It's been a long
let them know they killed the dream.
Because I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dream.
You ready, sir?
Yep.
You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Have a lot to talk about today as the president appears in panic mode. And that is not only dangerous at the level of did he do something that he's scared of, which appears to be. He's the guy sitting up there now making decisions on what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on in Gaza, what's happening in terms of the atomic bombs they're claiming that they're taking down in Iran, and what's going on here with the deportation and all of that going on in terms of ICE. And if his head is so messed up with Obama and Martin Luther King files and all that, imagine he's the one making all these decisions, any one of which could cause lives of you and me. So this is not some, after work happy hour conversation. This is serious. And I want you to weigh in. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, and not only I don't want you to forget, I want you to tell your family, your friends, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live every Saturday and Sunday, live at 5, every Saturday and Sunday. I have people stop me in the airport, stop me in the street, and say, I watch your show, and you always have the folks on in the Senate and the governors and all that right in the middle of everything. And I hear things that I really didn't understand because you press it. That's why I'm there. That I make sure I've been on the end of August, 14 years. I've never missed a show. Some people get a show and 4 weeks in, they on vacation. I've never missed a show, even when I do it from South Africa. Watch it, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, MSNBC. You in the tri-state area, meet me at the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem.
Today, the 17th of July, we remember Eric Garner, a black man.
9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I certainly tell you, there's nothing more reinvigorating and nothing more giving you energy than to be able to be with other activists and other concerned people, bonding with them on a weekly basis and making our plans on what we're going to do. Because there's a reason we call it National Action Network. This ain't the National Procrastination Network. This ain't the National Let's Rah, Rah, Rah Network. It's action. I don't care how great your analysis is, and you need an analysis. If you don't put some action behind it, it means nothing to nobody. I've met people all my life that can tell you everything down to the footnotes of what's wrong with the country, but they are not doing anything to expose it and do anything about it. Talking about that, that's why we are having this huge march on Wall Street, August 28th, little over a month away. And people already are signing up buses, signing up to go, calling us to get information, because the budget cuts and the big, beautiful bill, that's a big, ugly bill, that puts a tax cut for the rich, the billionaires, and tries to balance it off by cutting Medicaid and cutting SNAP programs. The beneficiaries of that are on Wall Street. That's where they work. That's where their offices are. And we've never really had an en masse black-led march about our concerns on Wall Street. That's why on this, the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're not going to Washington this year as we customarily do. We're going to Wall Street. And I want those barons of industry to look out the window and say there are thousands of them. They're peaceful, but they're firm. Because those are the culprits that are financing Trump to de-finance us. Black businesses, black employment, black professional contracts, lawyers, accountants, all that. They're not hiring because all that they said was DEI, and we ain't doing no DEI. So I don't care if you come by horse, trained, plain, you need to be there. To get the information, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, and we really, really want you to be involved. Let me tell you something. I've got to the place where I don't even entertain people that can tell me all that's what's wrong and can't tell me, and therefore what they're doing about it. Reverend Althouse is bad, man. They doing that. Okay. Are you a member of an organization? Well, no. Did you attend a rally? No. Or what the last march you've been to? Well, I really don't believe in marching. Okay, so let me get this right. You're not a member of nothing. You don't support nothing. You don't believe in marching that puts a spotlight on the problem. You just think because you sitting around talking to one or two people you know is going to change something. And people look at me like, I hadn't thought about it like that. I mean, why are you wasting anybody's time talking about what's wrong if you ain't going to do anything about it? Just shut up and accept it, because that's what you're doing. Don't annoy people. Complain about something you're not going to do anything about. Just be cool, because you already are. Admit it to yourself. If you are listening to me right now and not a member of something, not working on something, not been to rallies or something, or marches or something, look in the mirror and say, repeat after me, I am a phony. I'll talk to you after the break. Keeping it real, that's what I do. Sharpton, that's my name. Be right back. Keeping it real. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they gotta open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their home, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And let's start in Atlanta, Georgia with Ronnie. Ronnie, you're keeping it real. with Al Sharpton. Is Ronnie there? I don't hear Ronnie.
He's not saying anything.
All right, I do not hear you, Ronnie, so let me move on. Let me go to Baltimore, Maryland, to Gene. Gene?
Reverend Al. I've never been one to toot my own horn. And so when I call into a lot of the shows, I've been offered the solution of why don't you get your own program sometimes. And so I appreciate what you said today in offering people who say a lot but aren't doing anything. One of the things that I did in about 2016 was I started my own podcast. I was one of the first podcast producers, I guess, maybe in the country. And so I'm on all platforms. The name of my podcast is Africana, that's African with an A, AFRICINA, Magazine News. And just briefly, what I did was document the settlement that we got with the HBCUs in Maryland, Bowie, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, Keepin, and Morgan State University, who got a settlement for $577 million. Now, that's less than we should have gotten, but we won. The case was won, and it's documented on my podcast. So it's an original source. So 100 years from now, when students are doing research and they're looking for original sources, they can go to Africana Magazine News, and guess what's there? The documentation of.
I wonder what would give anybody the impression you toot your own horn. You don't advertise your podcast twice.
Well, because
you'd advertise your podcast twice, and that's all right. I don't. I just want you to know that I ain't stupid. I'm letting you promote your podcast.
I know you are.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Say it one more time. Give them where they can go get your podcast.
It's Africana Magazine. It's on all podcast platforms. Africana Magazine News. And because you said that we should not be calling in and tooting our horns and not doing anything.
All right.
That's what I'm doing. So I just want to impress you with that. Now, the reason I call in is a reference to treason. I'm also a veteran.
Okay.
And so what I think that we have to be careful, because remember when the founding fathers separated themselves from King George in England, every one of the founding fathers, if they were caught, they would have been hanged for treason. Okay? And so what was said yesterday by someone who I respect, but again, I think that they need to be careful in the sense of reference to treason, because a treasonous act means that you are doing something against the state, and the penalty for that is death. And so, as a veteran, if somebody tells me that,
now you raise an excellent point. You supposed to be sentenced to death for committing treason. You're right. People may not know that.
Yeah.
You're totally right on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I'm saying is that we, especially today in this political climate, and if what we say is actually true, whether you believe it or not, that if you are charged with treason, that's what's going to happen to you. So as a veteran, somebody tells me that I should not follow the commander-in-chief and that I should overthrow the United States of America, that is a treasonous act, even though the president is Donald Trump. But all presidents are commander-in-chief. So as a veteran, I respect the commander-in-chief. I might not respect the person who's the present president, but I will respect the commander-in-chief, and I will not try to overthrow the United States government.
Now, and I think that you bring up an excellent point, that with all of these nuts out here that are shooting people, one shot Trump, and another was on his way to shoot him. Why would you even suggest someone is guilty of something that the sentence is death? That if they feel that the government's not doing it, some nut'll take it in their own hands. I mean, there's all kind of danger to you throwing that out there.
Yes. So
because he used the term, Trump used the term treason. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not exaggerating that. He said that.
He said it, right. But again, we have to be careful in the sense is that we do not place ourselves in harm's way based on ignorance. We should know what the definition of it is, what the consequence is, and how that somebody who is in opposition to you can literally use that against you. See, the term dialectic I use often in reference to both sides know what the other is doing. But if one side can get, it's basically less than, because Dr. King said it's less than 3%, you could pull them over to your side. Guess what? You can win by using the opposition's own people. So this is in political science, Red Mountain, you know it. This is how political science, this is how politics works. It's a science. And there's a method to the madness of politics.
Absolutely. Thank you for your call. You're absolutely right. And I thank you for what you brought up because it's important in framing the discussion. Let me get one more call, and then I'm going to go to our message page. Let's go to Charles in Maryland. Charles.
Hello?
Hello.
Mr. Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Charlton, I heard what this fellow just said, and I agree. See, but the thing is, they're killing our babies. They're still killing the young men. We demonstrated, and that's all right years ago. When they take ass, cocaine can take ass as a joke, because everything they do to us, we don't do nothing in return to them. And they like it that way, because they can control us by giving us money, prestige, putting on music.
So you say everything they do to us, we need to do to them?
Yeah.
All right. As soon as you get ready to get started, call me, and I'll meet you at wherever you're going to get started. Thank you for your call. You know, radio revolutionaries don't impress me. I want action. So if you want us to do to them whatever they do to us, whenever you get ready to get started, let me know, and I'll meet you, and we'll do whatever you tell us we need to do. Let's go to Spencer in Little Mountain, South Carolina. Spencer, you're on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Al.
Hi.
I haven't talked to you in a while, but you know, like I said before, and I'm glad to say I'm 82 years old, but you know what? Looking at the killer that killed 4 white kids that was going to college, they playing the thing on TV now, and they planned it from an angle like it's supposed to help white folks to be less being sorrowful for what happened. They playing this guy up from an angle that's really shocking, but let me just explain what I'm trying to say. If we wasn't in these times that we're in now, looking at the president of the United States, which is a convicted felon, and plus he's doing some things such as disgrading the black president of the United States. We now is being given an antidote to go for this crap. I don't know where we're going, man, because this blows my mind. I don't know how you look at it, Al, but then again, like you said, you can't sit still now. You know, you had some type of a seat, but when they took that 15-year-old black boy and just went and ran him right on through and put him in an electric chair and killed him, the white folks very much did that because he was black. But now all of a sudden, this white boy can sit up there and make 3 networks and make a gang of white folks just be trying to beg this away, be trying to understand what this boy did. And guess what? He got life imprisonment. This is the way we looking at things now.
Wait a minute, what case are you talking about?
A Koberger. And I think in Indiana where he killed them 3 white girls and 1 white boy.
Okay, right. All right, now I'm with you.
Yeah, that is a mental thing there. Now, It's on all the networks.
Yeah,
And
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Maybe it's because a certain person wants you to forget something else about what he did, and he don't want to be dragged down. But the way things look now, we are headed for a total destruction or either a total correction. You see what I'm getting at? So I don't know if Trump's going to be it, but he might be the answer.
All right. Thank you for your call. On our message board, Demetrius Jones says, "Good day, Reverend Al. I love your radio show. We must stay focused on the Epstein files." I'm with you, Demetrius. James Green is saying, Reverend J.C. Green in Aiken, South Carolina, keep doing what you're doing. May God continue to bless and keep you. Thank you for your prayers, Reverend Green, and all our people there in Aiken. Tricia said, "Yeah, Reverend Al, shut him down with the quickness, LOL. He told him to start the revolution and then call him." Yes, I did, Tricia. That's what I said. Let me go to break. That's where I'm going. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton. Keeping it real. Be right back. You gotta call that crazy.
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, "God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me." Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, "Let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out." He said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." He said, "Don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us." Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been good. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, "Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burdened down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me.
Now then the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. And that has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free.
And I know all over the country,
Smile on
we
me.
need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there.
Now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down.
And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way if you just keep the faith and refuse to lose. And God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God
And smile on me. He has set me free. Let me sing here. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
God I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out.
I'm your host,
He said, ask not what
Reverend Al
your country can do for you.
Sharpton. Let's go right back to the phone. Let's go back to Ronnie in Atlanta. Ronnie, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good evening, Rev.
Good evening.
It's just ridiculous how Trump his go-to whenever he wants to rile his base up. You know, he go to the black side, and you know, you got the Clinton scandal, you had the Nixon scandal, and you even had the Bush scandal with Iraq. But out of all the presidents, he had to pick the black one to pick on, and you know, and so that should let black Republicans know how he feels about black people and them too.
Right.
And you know, yeah, we know who the real treasoner is. The one that is on film and is on record when he ordered them people to go into the Capitol. So we know who the real, and didn't do anything about it. We know who the real treasoner is. And then, you know, just hypothetically say that he does, you know, try to convict Obama, you know, and arrest it. He has immunity. You know, he was the one that went through the Supreme Court to grant that. Unless Rev, Trump petitioned to arrest the black Obama and not the white one. Let the white one know. the black side of it, you know, he can arrest the black side and let the white Obama go. But pertaining to that lady that called yesterday, which she was, you know, a big fake, and you called her out. She was saying that when she was on the Democrat side, she worked. So what is she doing now that she's on the Republican side? Did she just quit working? You know, the work. That's work to be done. You know, you still, I mean, you know, there's still work. You know, people in Flint, they don't have any water. Them people in Alabama, their sewage is backed up, and, you know, they don't get any help. So when she went over there, you know, she just quit working. Yeah, she probably did because they won't let her have a seat at the table, just like they do all the black Republicans. You cannot get a seat at the table. And I don't know how long is it going to take them to realize that they don't play that over there. You're not going to get no seat at the table over there. And, you know, there's still plenty of work to do. Right, Rev? You know,
I think so.
There's still plenty of work. And she just, I guess she just went over there and just stopped and just quit working and not, and now she don't care about black people. She want to accuse you all of not doing nothing, and you and Reverend Jesse Jackson has been outstanding voices for the black people for a long time. But she want to accuse you all of not doing anything, but yet still, when she go to the Republican side, she just sit down. So I mean, you know, what are you saying?
Yeah.
You know, think about what you're saying before. Go ahead, Rev.
No, you're right, and I think that that's a point well made. Thank you for your call. I'm not going to belabor. You know, I said what I had to say to her yesterday, and I'm one of those that welcome critics because they'll say what others don't have the nerve to say and need to hear. And a lot of you hear it from other people, may not agree with it, but don't know how to answer it. So I answer it so you know what to say when they bring it up. And You know, I think that Obama and anyone else that Trump attacks, the right wing that attacks me or Reverend Jackson or whoever, all as I did yesterday, all you have to do is go categorically what we have said we stand for. Did we stand for it? Did we do what we said? And then compare that to the people they with, the Republicans. That's all. You know, if somebody said, you know, Al Sharpton wasn't the first man on the moon, they would know y'all was going to the moon. So you can't impose your objectives on me. You can only hold me accountable to what I said. I said I was going to build a civil rights organization. I have. Reverend Jackson, when he was healthy, built one all over the country. When there was a civil rights issue, whether it be Trayvon, all the way back to Howard Beach, all the way as recent as George Floyd and Jerome Neal this year, we've been there as a civil rights organization. I ain't never told y'all that I was astronaut. So they try to tell you, well, you didn't do this, that, or the other. I never told you I was in that. No one anything does everything. So judge anybody, and I will judge anybody, by what they represent. That's what they are. Hakeem Jeffries is the leading Democrat in the Democratic caucus in Washington. He convenes the Democrats to push legislation. He says every time he's at NAN, and he was a member of NAN for the last 15, 20 years, that I need y'all out there with the rallying and the climate setting, because if there's no climate setting, nobody putting pressure on the outside, it gives me problems with my people on the inside. So to say, well, Reverend Sharpton don't pass legislation, no, my job is to create a climate so those that are trying to get it passed will get it passed. So a lot of people that think they're critical are really showing they really don't understand people's roles. And that's why I try to answer it. Because I think a lot of us need to understand what we're talking about. Let's go to John in Staten Island, New York. John.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al. I'd like to say with my punchline, you're the host with the most. I don't know if you remember me from last year with the mayor of Queensbridge houses. I was totally blind. I came to your 70th birthday, October 5th, when your birthday was October 3rd.
Yeah. You came with Rodney Jones.
And you hugged me and I hugged you, and I gave you $71 for the extra to make your 71st birthday this year.
Yeah.
So what I'm calling about, Reverend Al, and I'll talk to you next month about my three scores and 10 for my 70th birthday next month. But what I'm calling about today is I'm HIV positive. I get Social Security. I get Medicare, I'm on Medicaid, and I get SNAP. And so I know I heard about that they want to make people who are able-bodied to work for the Medicaid. When I was on welfare years ago, we used to work on a program called PWP. Now, being disabled and blind as I am now, of course, they can't put me to work to receive Medicaid. But what I want to know is, am I going to be affected by these cuts in my Medicaid and my SNAP and my other benefits, being I'm disabled, HIV, and blind, Staten Island, New York? And how is that going to affect me, Reverend Al?
Well, I think that's an excellent question. What's your direct packages? I don't know. I think we can have somebody look at it. But I know that there are several million people that will be put off of SNAP, and there are those that will be put off Medicaid as the state's requirements are now different. They're requiring different questions, different levels of information to qualify for Medicare, and they're reducing the amount that the federal government is going to give has to be matched by the state. So where those guidelines will fall in terms of your case, we would have to have someone look it up.
And the other thing, Reverend Al, I get HASA, which is a program for HIV on the welfare program, yes.
All right, well, let's look. Hold on a minute. Get his information so I can give it to our crisis folk. And let's see all of what he's saying and how this measures up with these new laws that Trump has put in. Let's go to Christine in Manhattan. Christine.
Happy Wednesday, Reverend Al.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my call. And I'm calling about, every time I called in this show, I had fired up what I'm going to say, and then a caller make me weepy. I thank you for this show. I'm calling because I think, well, number one, since I said happy Wednesday, I think 47 does not like happy, and he definitely doesn't like funny. That's why he went after the comedian on CBS, and I'm trying to remember.
Stephen Colbert.
Colbert. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like funny. But I think with his swollen legs, ankles, there is more wrong with him than he wants to admit. That's why he's all over the place. And I can just take my life. I know I have hypertension. And a few years ago, my ankles were swollen. And I had to find me another primary care physician to deal with what I had. And remember now, he told me I was over-medicated. They had been giving me hypertension medicine more than I should have. And it caused my legs to swell. So I'm not saying what 47 is dealing with, but swollen ankles is not a joke. Mm-hmm. So he is something is going on with his body. And I seemed like there was something else I wanted to say, and I cannot remember. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, Rem now.
All right. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
a race baiter. Yeah, right. I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustling, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr.
Keeping it real.
The church and religion,
Reverend
he didn't warn me
Al
that
Sharpton with
after
that.
his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher. And that
5797 1877 532 5797. O.G. Kelly saying on our message page, bragging about Trump, bragging about his poor McDonald's and Coca-Cola diet. I haven't eaten a McDonald's in years and don't have a plan to do so anytime soon. I'm with you on that. I don't eat any meat, but I certainly wouldn't be eating McDonald's. Tricia Stovall says, Tricia, I agreed, but we need to get him out and impeached. Or there's someone responding to her. And I think that it is what it is. Let's go to the phones. Let me go to Joyce in Cleveland. Joyce, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Joyce?
Who was that?
Hello?
Yes. Hi, Reverend Al. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm calling just to ask if we know for sure if the black farmers received the settlement and the promises that were made to them in the settlement. I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I haven't been keeping up with it.
Did the black farmers do what now? What was the question?
You know, they were supposedly, I understand, they were given a settlement.
Right.
And I don't know if any of that was followed through on. It was 5 different phases of things that they were supposed to be helping them with.
Yeah, I know that there was one phase because we had John, who was the national head of black farmers, at the convention in April, in one phase he was thanking us for helping to go through, but there were other things that had to be done. So well, I'm glad you called. I'll call Boyd and get him to come on the show and tell us where they are, because I don't know the update and I don't want to give the wrong information.
That would be great because, the way things are going, we might really, really need to depend seriously on our sustenance from the black farmers.
I agree.
Because Donald Trump, he seems to, he wants to see us all looking like we're in Gaza.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. All right, thank you.
That's my question.
All
Okay,
right,
thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to get on that. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Rufus in Atlanta, Georgia. Rufus.
You said again, sir?
Rufus. Have we done Rufus?
He's on now. He's live.
All right, Rufus, go ahead. Is Rufus on?
Yeah, he's turned up. He's not saying anything, sir. Let's move on.
All right, I can't hear Rufus. Let's go to Tommy in Chicago, Illinois. Tommy.
A pleasant afternoon to you. And before I get started, I have some very special people here who want to say hello to Reverend Al Sharpton. All you guys say hello to Reverend Al Sharpton. That's the fans you have, Reverend.
Oh, thank you.
And I just want to know, Rev, thank you, because I once called your radio station. I'll put Reverend Al Sharpton on blast. I guess I must have sounded like the gentleman who called talking about a revolution, or the other individual who wants to use your show to broadcast something else. And I can only tell everyone who's listening, for every time I saw Reverend Al Sharpton, I don't give a whether you believe me or not. Every time I saw Reverend Al Sharpton somewhere and I came out, all I heard was, plug me in. Nobody's listening to me. Give me a break. Nothing about the substance of where we were and how do we find a better path. And so now, Rev, I'm of the opinion just like the military. When you go into the military, one of the first things they do is degrade you to see how much you can take. Because it's going to be very important that when they give you orders that you take those orders and not stop running your mouth. But when you get back to this situation over here, as a black man, embrace your culture, your heritage, understand the plight of reality, not nonsense. Reality, Rev. Because, see, everything that you thought could not happen has happened. Every watchman, every individual, every white person, black person, China, I don't care who it was, came and told people, hey, look, this is what's going on. Why is everybody trying to come to America and all the people in America ain't trying to go everywhere else since America's supposed to be so messed up? Let me just close, because where we at right now is sensible. Here's your solution. 7 principles of Kwanzaa will ask you, how are you living your life? And are you involved? Because when I called Reverend Al's show with that nonsense, the only thing Reverend Al said to me was, when you get involved with something, young man, call me back. I'm thankful today to say to Reverend Al Sharpton, not only did I get involved in something, I went into the ministry and I patterned my whole self after Reverend Al Sharpton. That's what Reverend Al Sharpton means to me, his family. I watch him. I love you, man. Sorry for calling you man, but you are a man. You're a real man. You're a real Negro. And as far as the rest of this nonsense goes, I tell you what we're going to do now, America. We're going to be still. We're going to do the one thing they ain't expecting us to do. We the people, in order to form a better government. And the fact that a sitting president would talk about another sitting president with absolute lies. So I'm going to close because I've been on too long. And watch this, Reb. I used to say, that's when I say you ought to subscribe. But now, the insanity has taken over, and I'm telling you, the household halls of sanity will not die. Too many people died that we could do this. Too many. And stop this nonsense about whites and all the rest of it. It was a white man that saved my life. A white man. And I don't love white people any more than anybody else, but I'll be doggone if I go somewhere. This is the place I was born. This is the place I will die. And America is the greatest country on the face of the earth. If not, tell me how any other country produced 62% of everything in the world. And as I close, They even created NATO. Now run and tell that. Goodbye.
And run and tell that. All right. Thank you for your call, Tommy, and thank you for all of those that are there with you. Let's take our break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich New Dennis, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Rev, you know, you were right there
from the beginning
with the stuff that was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself, Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question. What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the hair on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. We went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We're gonna shine up and shake. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
You got to be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon said, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain. They termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week, what would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we do. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, if Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down because we come out of a tradition and a lineage that can do that. And 7-532-5797. Let's go to James in Atlanta, Georgia. James?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's for me?
Yes, you're on the air.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, Dr. Al, you know who this is. This is Brother B.A. From Terrytown. I'm up. You didn't hear from me for a while because I've been in Supreme Court. I just want to share some things with you all. This court is a disaster. What's going on right now? I just want to share this with you. What happened today? I was in Supreme Court in Westchester County. I had to do 4 motions. I want you to hear what's going on in court. I went to Yonkers, where my brother Jesse Jackson, and he was right. It's Hymietown. That's what it is.
Wait a minute, now we're not going to do that. Let's go to the next call. No. You know better than that. We're not going to do that. Now you're going back 40 years and use a phrase that Reverend Jackson had to apologize for and all of that. So, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to our stations because they will. You got stations all over the country carrying us, most of them black-owned, that will be, they got people on there calling people's names. You can't do that, and you know better than that, James. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Anita in Chapel Hill. Anita in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Hi, Reverend Al.
Hi.
That's really horrible that he is so jealous of President Obama being who he is, and he feels he has all the credentials of who I don't know, because God doesn't certify you like that based on what you think. Okay? Not like that. But anyway, I want to say this. I went out with the flood people that came out, the governor of North Carolina,
Right.
the county manager. I spoke with all of them. I told them I thought they needed to get rid of it because, of course, the flood zones are pretty much affordable housing situations where people don't have resources, and they built these things in floodplains. But I told Governor Josh Stein that Reverend Al is your friend. So I'm still going to see what I can do about fundraising to see if we can get some help, because we got Red Cross workers working for free, and people at the laundromat charging phones after our power was out. And one lady was at the Red Cross meeting, and she told me she had 2 autistic children, Reverend Al. Their house flooded and a tree fell on it. And another guy said they was at this one that I actually went out to see, the Josh Stein and the governor of North Carolina. The guy said they were getting out. It took them 2 minutes when they saw the water might come in the house. And when they got out and had called all their friends and stuff, a tree fell, and then they couldn't move. So we need fundraisers for this. I'm still going to talk to JB Smooth about all of this. I haven't gotten it. I texted his wife or emailed her. She hasn't responded yet, but I'm going to do a little harder press with my children as far as getting the numbers. His phone number.
Now, have they cleared the water?
Oh, the water was cleared, but the stuff was still sitting outside. This was Friday that he came out after Chantal, and he finally made out. And then it was a business area that also flooded real bad from, I was telling your daughter about it. It was called Bowling Creek that flooded inside of Chapel Hill, and the earth underneath that is 625 million years old, if that's accurate. So this thing floods, okay? It's going strong here, and we got other rivers flooding within 15 miles on either side of Chapel Hill, and Chapel Hill received 2.8 billion gallons of water fell just on Chapel Hill. So the county manager was out, and I talked with him too, and I also talked to him about other housing problems that's in the area. I told you they was building those $500,000 2-bedroom apartments, and everybody else is just getting lost in the flood, whether there's a real one or not a real one. They're just getting rid of people like, it's not important. But if there's anything you want to do to help out, I definitely have put your name out there. I said, I'm going to be Reverend Al's eyes. I'm going to tell him everything I see that's going on. And if you want to get involved with Trump and Josh Stein or whatever, the affordable housing definitely needs to be taken care of. And someone said that because of Tillis voting against Donald Trump, we may have a problem getting FEMA funds here. Isn't that a mess? And they were from affordable housing, and they had given a march, I think that day before, or something, the week before, I can't remember now, I saw this whole video. And they met together, the Democrats, to talk about what they're afraid of losing because of the elected officials, because of Trump.
Wow.
So if you need, I need you to get involved, because I told Josh Stein they need to this place floods so much. I said, you just need to knock this down,
All right.
So
I will look into it. Thank you for your call, and we definitely are interested in how we can help in that area. So you're right on it, Anita. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Mr. Hall in North Carolina. Mr. Hall.
Hello, Mr. Sharpton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am doing well myself, thank you. I'm a big fan of yours, and you've always been a kind of a guiding light to me in reference to reality. My question, the reason why I called in today was talking about the Epstein files and stuff like that. And I did talk to some of the representatives in my state in reference to the Freedom of Information Act, because these guys are going to slow walk this as long as they can. Is there a way that we can use the Freedom of Information Act and get it? The public needs to know, and the public has a right to know.
Freedom of Information Act on what? On the Epstein file?
On getting the Epstein file, because it's a matter of public knowledge. You know.
Yeah, I think what they are hiding behind that, because I know some of the media outlets have tried to get it, is that the Epstein files have been filed by the DOJ, Department of Justice, because of the case and the fact that Maxwell's in jail, and that they had the whole case of his being allegedly committing suicide. A lot of people don't believe it was suicide. Now, where the status of the files are now is a good question, but I know at the last time I knew, a couple of years ago, they were saying that they could not release the files till the cases was over. Well, if she's in jail and he's expired, I don't see why they would not release the files, which is why it is strange to me, other than there's something that looks like somebody's hiding something. Why Trump is saying that he told the Justice Department to release the grand jury minutes. Well, the grand jury minutes are not going to tell us anything. Grand jury minutes will only tell us why they indicted Maxwell and why they indicted Epstein. Even if there were allegations of others, they'd have to black their name out, so we wouldn't know anything more than we know now. Why didn't he say release the files? He said, Mr. Hall, release all of Martin Luther King's files. So why don't you say release all of Epstein's files?
Correct. And Reverend Al, I think you said all of the relevant information. And my thing is, if it's in the files, it should be relevant in the first place. And so it just reeks of cover up, and they're going to drag this appeal out as long as they can, so they continue to hide behind that fact. But it should be some other way, that we as a public, with the outcry that's going on, to know who our elected officials really are.
Right.
It should be some other mechanism in order for us to get that information and make it public to the citizens of this country.
Absolutely right. Thank you for your call. I agree with you. Let's go to Flavor King in Atlanta, Georgia. Flavor King.
God bless Supreme Freedom Fighter, Brother Al Sharpton, and all the beautiful people. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Brother Al? Oh, okay. All right. I'd like to start off with the Diddy case and ask you, did that prosecutor get fired?
Not to my knowledge.
Out of the case?
Not to my knowledge.
So she still got that job. Okay, I keep seeing stuff saying Trump fired her.
Well, I know that that there was one lady that worked on that case and the case of Eric Adams, who was James Comey's daughter, that resigned or was fired, but she was not the lead prosecutor on Diddy's case. She was involved with the case, but she was not the lead prosecutor.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. So she was fired. That's deep. After we heard her say she got all the files. All right. My problem with the Diddy case is nothing was ever brought up about the children, really, Brother Al. And that's all I care about. I don't care about grown folks having sex. Period. I don't. I'm just saying. It was the children that I heard about was up in there, and Allie Carter was willing to testify. They didn't even call her forward. That's strange to me. How you didn't call the one that would tell about these children and the Epstein Island. That's all I'm really studying. I got the list. That list been out of who been over there, and some of them folks. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. But the ones who be messing with children, That's part I want to hear about, and drinking blood and sacrifice. That's the part we want to hear, because that's the part God wants to talk about, and that's the part going to stop. This is the biggest industry in the world, child trafficking right now. And how in the world is Trump going to be talking about, it ain't nothing, we're going to stop it. It ain't nothing we concern us more than what's happening to the children right now, and how they keep coming up missing, period. And it ain't all about sex. They killing these children.
Well, I certainly am concerned about the children. I'm concerned about human trafficking. I think it all need to come out. And I think that you and I have the right to ask the question, why not? But James Thomas wrote on the message page, Flavor King for you, says, Flavor King, is not going well for you if you're trying to outdo Beth. It's not working. Now, I don't know who Beth is, but I read the message. Thank you for your call, Flavor King. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Look like some of my message boards people keeping it real, too. We'll be right back. 1 year ago and change, 67 weeks ago, we started marching every Thursday, am I right, on the offices of Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman was the architect of ending DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. He started it. I want to give a little history, because a lot of people get Negroitis and get confusion. I don't even mind your ego. Everybody need one, but you don't have to become contrary and duplicitous. We got to have integrity even among those with ego. So we started when they first came out against DEI. Now, Ackman and them started it going to Harvard University, forcing out the first black woman and first black president of Harvard. We went to his office and been going 67 weeks. I went first 10, 12 weeks. And this brother, stand up, Reverend Ron McHenry, coordinator House of Justice. This brother has been there every week. Many of you here in the audience have marched every week. So we didn't just get in this. We were in it the day they came at Claudine Guy. Last year's convention, we dealt with DEI. This year, we said that we're going at these corporations that had come out against DEI. Many of you, most of y'all I'm looking at was at the convention. And we hit Pepsi. Pepsi called and said, all right, we 8-9 days in, we agree to meet. And we went, purchased New York. Chairman of our board, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, and Carol Wallace, who's a special advisor to us on finance, and laid out to them that one, we don't care what you call it, DEI, IED. Y'all are gonna keep your commitments in terms of the black community. And that means we don't want special privilege, but we do not want to be specially excluded. This is not about we don't want merit. We feel if our people are at the table, we can beat anybody on merit in many cases. So we want from employment to your board, to how you deal with marketing, to who does your financial investment. We want to go across the board with that. Otherwise, if you don't want to deal with the question of diversity in how you do your business, then don't deal with diversity in your consumer base, because you don't believe in diversity. So we just will try to remove all the dollars we can from buying your stuff. In fact, I told the chairman, remember the chairman of the board, remember the CEO, I said, in fact, I learned that not from growing up civil rights, I learned that from Donald Trump. I said, what do you mean? I said, Donald Trump says he's gonna redo tariffs, that if he doesn't get what he wants for the country, they were gonna raise the tariffs. I'm doing the black tariff reverse. If we don't get what we want, I mean, y'all can't be for Trump and tariff and not be for us in the African American community with a tariff. to be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon said, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain. They termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week, what would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we're doing. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, if Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down because we come out of a tradition and a lineage that can do that. You got to be the new thing.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose, and you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And OG Kelly is saying, Trisha, you don't miss anything. I'm trying to pull that up. Okay, I can't. Okay, good. No. I'm trying to pull up with the screen. Okay, Trisha, you don't miss anything. He was trying to outdo Beth from Connecticut when she called yesterday. Okay, I guess y'all know who Beth from Connecticut is. You talking about Flavor King. All right, I got it. Now we all on the same page. Let's go. Let's go to James in Atlanta. James, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, Reverend Sharpton. Reverend Sharpton, regarding this Epstein issue, you know, a grand jury testimony, they're talking about the releasing of the federal grand jury testimony. You know, this time last year, the state of Florida released their grand jury testimony at the Epstein trial of 2006. So there is a testimony that's already online that can be downloaded regarding a 14-year-old.
Now, the one online is the state of Florida trial?
Yes.
Okay.
The Democrats pushed a number of years ago to have that grand jury testimony be released to the public. The governor of Florida, DeSantis, in 2023, as he was running for president, he signed a law to allow for it to be released. In fact, he signed that law at a police department. So there's one that's already available.
That's interesting.
And, excuse me?
Yeah, I'm here.
And then regarding this all this information floating around regarding Epstein, you got the $10 billion lawsuit. Because I've been thinking about all this stuff. And you got the Katie Johnson issue with her testimony on YouTube and the 3 lawsuits she filed in 2016. And I heard Epstein's brother, he's about 18 months younger than Epstein. I heard a clip of him a few days ago. He stated, and this got me thinking more along this line of why the current occupant of the Oval Office is doing all this stuff, why, you know, all of the distractions. So his brother Epstein stated that if people really knew the extent of the relationship between Epstein and Trump for 10 or 15 years, he stated that he would have never been elected. And when he said that, it got me thinking even more so. And I'm thinking that, was Trump a founding member with Epstein? Was he in his planning stages? So like when I heard his brother say that, I just started thinking more along that line. And
so let me get this right, because that's very intriguing to me. Epstein's brother said that if people knew about Trump, he'd have never been elected.
If people knew the extent of their relationship for 10, 15 years, that they were friends, if they knew the extent of their relationship, he would have never been elected. In fact, I think Epstein's brother was on CNN last evening.
Well, see
Aaron Burnett's show.
Then that would give more credence to why Trump is acting so unhinged. Because as I said earlier when we first came on, that he's acting like a man guilty. The blueberry pie analogy I use, because every day he's trying something else to change the story. And usually when people do that is because, especially if they're in the middle of a controversy of this magnitude, is they're trying to change the subject.
Crazy stuff. And you mentioned it the other day, Reverend Sharpton, that his Truth platform, that he's making money from that. But have you noticed in the background in the White House are the gold trimmings around the fireplace, the drapes, the picture frame, all gold trimming.
Right.
All over the place.
All gold trimming.
You know, it's like this.
All gold trimming and using presidential kinds of stuff surrounding some of the writings and all. And it's not a government site. It's his site. He owns it
It's like
personally.
we're in Saudi Arabia.
Right. Exactly right.
Who's paying for that? How much? What's the cost of all this stuff? You know, is it
That's
real gold?
That's exactly right. Thank you for your call. OG Kelly saying there are various ways individuals and groups are resisting or advocating against policies and actions associated with Trump and his administration. Tricia says, I agree. Also, OG Kelly and James Thomas, but they made it seem like what he had to say was irrelevant. I was so disappointed. And I think that, again, they are going to try in any way they can be dismissive, try to act like people just talking. But we've got to keep on doing what we're supposed to do. Richard Sapp is saying, I know President Obama wants to be respectful and diplomatic, but he should remind that idiot in the White House he's the 34 count convicted felon. I don't disagree with you, Richard Sapp. You know, I'm not as diplomatic as President Obama, but for a man with 34 felony convictions and found guilty of sexual harassment, to be talking about anybody ought to be picked up is a bit much. Dr. Patricia Lacu says Trump is throwing everything in the fire to distract from the Epstein scandal and from releasing the Epstein file. I smell fear. That's exactly what I smell. That's exactly what I smell. You and I on the same wavelength there because this is crazy. Tanya Stovall says, all this is on the message page at live stream at National Action Network. Tanya is saying, Trump has sold out this country in so many ways, January 6th and treason. I agree with the caller. Evangelist Ramsey, one of the best anointed in the business, says Trump calls it witch hunt because he's ran out of lies. You're right, Evangelist Ramsey. And thank you. You sent a longer message I read during the break. Thank you for your prayers and all in terms of what we do. I think that it is important we understand that. And go ahead, put up James. James Thomas said, Rev, if them was smart enough, they should go to every hospital in the red state that closes and tell the media that the Republicans closed this hospital. That sounds strategy to me. I think the fact that they are not on the ground and dramatizing. That's one of the reasons we're doing the March on Wall Street. You've got to do things with drama to get people's attention. You can write something on your Facebook all you want. The only one who's going to read it on your Facebook is your friends that follow you on Facebook. You got to get in people's way, in people's face. And I think that not only we doing that on Wall Street, I think he's correct. They ought to be in these rural communities as these hospital closes and say, look at this. This hospital used to service these people. They used to do this, that, or the other. Now it's closing because of the big, beautiful bill. Let's go to Dr. Woods in Tennessee on the phone. Dr. Woods, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton. Thank you, first of all, for being an amazing leader in this country.
Thank
and
you.
We are geared to come to New York on the 28th. But we have some members in the Chattanooga chapter that want to know what was the outcome of the Pepsi-Cola meeting with you. We talked about that at the national convention,
Right.
and we just want to know what was the outcome.
So
and
far,
we are ready to come to New York.
So far, we have got them to agree certain things on black-owned media and some on black businesses. We're trying to finish up in terms of the health side and them dealing with diversity on the corporate ladder. I'll probably be able to announce that by the 28th, or we shutting it down. I'm not going for part of the pie. We want the whole pie. So the discussions are going in the right direction, but we're not there yet. But thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. in a minute. One more of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, and more of you on the message board. And I'm looking for Chattanooga to be in the place. Come on to New York. I'm proud of that chapter. I hear great things about y'all. Let's take a break. Be right back. Thank you, Dr. Woods. I look forward to coming down to Chattanooga.
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say, I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but He looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then,
make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit, but don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. He has set me free. God, smile on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God He was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for His children, that God will make a way out of no way if you just keep the faith and refuse to lose. And God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say that. country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me.
Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or go to our message board at live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Tricia says Colin Alfred will be running again for Senate in Texas against Trump loyalist John Cornyn and corrupt Attorney General Ken Paxton, whose wife just filed for divorce. I hope he engages the community more. I think Colin Alfred ran, by most people's assessment, a good race, a competitive race. And if he engages the community and not just drive by, he needs to put people on the ground in the community and maximize bringing them out. I know blacks are not the majority, but they can make up a large gap. I think if he does that, he'd be in better shape. I'll put it that way. There are a lot of positives about him, but you got to organize. You got to stay on the ground, and I think that's important. I think your counsel is very wise to him. Let's go to Bertha in Cleveland, Ohio. WERE. Bertha.
Good afternoon. How are you, Reverend?
Good. How you doing, Bertha?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, Reverend, I was listening to some of the calls that you had yesterday. I was sitting in my car, and I stayed in my car for about an hour listening to you, and I was very disturbed with a couple of calls. One call, I understood after the gentleman stated what the Democrats hadn't done. I agree with him on one side that we need to be more we need to be more telling more about what Trump has done and constantly doing this. This is what they do because people have a tendency to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And these files, they need to be. I don't care if they go on vacation for 2 months. They still need to be brought to life. If you notice, Trump when he's on in another country, he's a little more. He goes along with whatever that he's in that country. But when they're on his turf, he acts like a bully.
Right.
Which is what he is. And all the things that he called Kamala Harris, I think that's what his mother is. Because how would one know what to call, as dumb as he is, what to call someone if he wasn't taught by one? Now that's I hate to say that, but that's the way I feel. It's time for us to get really, and I really wish I could be on the 28th with Marcia McCoy with you all marching. I really wish I could, but I'm gonna try forward to next year.
All right. We gonna be there. Thank you for your call, Tricia. On our message board says Texas State Senator Angela Paxton has to sit in the impeachment hearing for her husband, Attorney General Kim Paxton, this is of Texas, and hear about his affairs, and she voted not to convict him. Now he has had new affairs. Yeah, that's about how that works out. I mean, it amazes me, from Trump to Paxton to others, and all of these alleged or established behavior, how the Christian right justifies supporting these people. I mean, it's the height of hypocrisy to say you must behave this way. These are the things that God requires of you. But I want you to vote for people that have violated them openly. Let's go to Mark in Houston, Texas. Mark, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Mark there?
Afternoon. Now,
Good.
Good afternoon, Loud Mouth. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Loud Mouth?
I hear you now.
Oh, okay. Then I just want to. I got two things on my mind. I want to say something about that Ken Paxton situation because I'm out of Texas, Houston, and so you hear that his wife is divorcing him, and the reason why she really divorced him because remember, Loud Mouth, she had to sit through that whole hearing when he was being impeached, and with that other woman, she found out all the scandals that he did with that other woman. You see what I'm saying? So I think that kind of led her up to for that divorce because it wouldn't sound right. Because remember, she sits on the board down there. So she's one of the members. So she heard everything, and I know it kind of hurt her to sit there and listen to how he committed adultery on her with that woman. But anyway,
that was part of the hearing. Is
unlawful.
That right? That was part of the hearing.
Yeah, that was part of the hearing. Yeah, and she had to sit and listen to it all. His wife, but she's a member. So yeah, she listened to it. But anyway, what is an unlawful order when a police officer pulls you over and he says certain things, and I can't understand. Did he take his elbow and like hit the man's window and break it with that, and then turn around and took his hand and sucker punched him? And I'm looking at when the man said punch. I heard on the news the man was asking him it was a sucker punch or a punch, but the black chief actually said hold on. It wasn't a punch. It wasn't a. See, I don't understand what made him see something different than what I didn't do. Because it was a punch. You could call it a sucker punch or whatever you want to call it, but that was a punch, man. And that's an unlawful. Do we have to obey unlawful orders, especially if it's a female and officer say, well, you need to get out the car. I want to see how tall you are. I want to see how good you look. I want to kind of see how long you live. You see what I'm saying, loudmouth? So we need to figure out what they mean about this nonsense, because I got people talking about, well, he just should have obeyed the order. But should he obey the unlawful order or should he obey the lawful order? Because clearly, if he said, hey, it wasn't raining out there, so he didn't have his lights on, so then he asked him what he put him over. That's what he said. So everybody else want to go to a whole new scenario, but it wasn't raining, so therefore he had him right then and there. So why you think he didn't do it? He didn't do an unlawful order. That was wrong for him. What do you think about that, Red?
I'm with you. I think that the fact of the matter is we are not and should not submit to being in a police state. A policeman has the right to give lawful instructions. But if you did nothing wrong, you have the right to question why they're instructing you to do anything. You have that right. And clearly what the police put in the report was not true. You look at the video, there was no raining, there was no resistance. He was not doing nothing against the law. And because of situations like we've seen in this case, people tend to be very suspect when police come over and stopping them when they know they didn't do anything. So, no, I don't think that we cannot support this young man. Ben Crump was up here yesterday. I met with him, and he was there last night, held a press conference with the family today, and I think Ben Crump's going to handle his case, and certainly National Action Network will be supportive, and National Action Network Tallahassee chapter is involved because the tape speaks for itself. This is egregious. You do not have that right. And then smacking him around and all. For what? What did he do? All right, let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich Newton for bringing us back. Of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House.
Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help. Reverend Al Sharpton. Put the spotlight on you. We're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to the message page at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can go to our live stream once you're there and go to the message board. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time at MSNBC, on MSNBC every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm already booking some of the senators and congressmen. The majority of the House is by 3 or 4 votes is Republicans, so they've now dismissed the House, so they don't have to vote on these transcripts and files on Epstein. I mean, Trump and them really running scared as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to deal with a lot of that with the senators and Congress people over the weekend on Politics Nation. Also on how they're going to deal with the debt ceiling. Are they going to bail out this time? Or are they going to stand up? And the big, beautiful bill. So a lot to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to deal with this young man assaulted in Jacksonville, Florida, by sheriff's officers, and I'm going to deal with the release of the Martin Luther King tape. So tell everybody, I know it's summer, y'all got air conditioning at home or stick your head out the window, whatever you do, but watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. You that are in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you have no excuse but to come to the Saturday Action Rally, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. And, of course, you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television and on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And August 28th, we are hearing people from all over the country. You heard how Chattanooga National Action Network leader say they're getting ready to come up. People from around the country going to come to make this strong witness on the anniversary of the March on Washington, that the dream that Dr. King talked about at that March on Washington, August 28th, 1963, we're saying that dream is being deferred on Wall Street. That's the barons of industry that are getting the tax cuts while they're cutting SNAP, that are getting the revenue while they are taking away Medicaid. We need to put the focus and the spotlight right there, and you need to be there. If you've never been to a march, this is the one you need to come to, because we are going directly at those that are responsible for making the profit off our pain. So go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign in and we'll see all the information. And you can pass it around. Meeting 10 a.m. Thursday, August 28th, the anniversary of the march. We're going to meet right there, Foley Square, the African Burial Ground, and march just 1 mile to the Bull, right there in the center of Wall Street, and have our rally. Many labor unions are going to be supportive, going to be there. Many of our faith community, most of our, just about all of our civil rights organizations, legacy organizations. But you need to be there. We need to be there by thousands. And like I said, we're not going to Washington this year. We're going to Wall Street. You that can't go online to sign up, call 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. All right, let's go to Keith in Florida. Keith.
Hey, I was just listening to a program, and they were talking about taking fluoride out of water. And we've done that in the past, and it wasn't a good thing. That's why we started to fluoride in the water. So we could look all over the world and see what happens when we don't have fluoride in the water. What happens to people's dental health, overall health. So I think this is a very dangerous thing.
So now, what have you said? What have you said? According to your research on fluoride in the water, what does it do for us?
Prevents cavities.
Okay.
Prevents tooth decay.
Okay.
There are countries that have lifespans of 30, 40. So we're really blessed, and part of that is the healthcare foundation that we have. So I
now,
think we need to be
who is
mindful
proposing?
and not try.
Who is proposing, if you know, to take the fluoride out? Where's that coming from?
This is a Republican anti-vax type of idea, type of movement. So that's who's proposing it. Even maybe in the House of Representatives right now, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm gonna look that up. That's of concern. We need to really make that an issue. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Donald in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Donald.
Yes, how you doing, Reverend Shaw?
I'm doing good.
Okay, the subject that you was just getting through talking about when the guy said the cops stopped a brother and for a traffic violation and were punching him and stuff like that, asking for his ID and all like that. It's a radio show that comes on early in the morning. And the name is similar to yours, but hers is like Michelle Bryan Say Something Real. And she has this guy that calls in, and I know he's with the Republican. He was telling her that the cop was right. And when Trump made the bill that the cops can do anything to you, he said that, the cops should have more comfortable feelings about doing what they're doing to us. I called in and asked Michelle, I said, now what if it was him? And they were punching them, dragging them all around the street like that. And I asked her, would he feel the same way that he feels? And I think just like she said he would feel all right with that. Something is really wrong with him. I told her him and Trump ought to be committed.
I think some people, we just got to let them go. I just really believe that.
Yes, sir.
I think there's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it. Don't ever forget, we love to romanticize, and thank you for your call, Donald. We love to romanticize Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, but we don't like to put in that story how many blacks wouldn't get on the Underground Railroad, wouldn't go to freedom. How many blacks said, where we going? What's wrong with here? How we going to eat? They got plenty of food in the master's house. After they eat, we can eat the scraps. We got our own little shack. So what if all of us got to sleep in the same room? Where are we going to sleep out there at freedom? And so we have always had those that question those that will fight for freedom. And then when you make a step toward freedom, they're the first ones that want to enjoy the freedom they didn't fight for or even believe we could get anything. I can't tell you how many times we've fought cases, fought for people's employment, fought for people to be promoted, and they got there, and we never heard from them since. That's why people like George Floyd's family and like Eric Garner's family and Trayvon's family that have stayed with us because we were there with them. I appreciate them because for every one of them, there's about 20 or 30 that we helped we never heard from again at all. And I don't expect them to turn into activists, but I would expect if somebody put their life and money on the line for your loved one, you could say Merry Christmas and a happy birthday. That's only twice a year. But I've come probably as I've gotten older to understand that's just the nature of some people. I'm not responsible for how people behave. I'm responsible for how I behave. And that's what I'm going to do what's right and not look for people to do right about me doing right, because that's, if you do it for them, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You do it because that's who you are. That's what you believe in. And in my case, that's what I believe was my life's purpose. So I really done got past the point of people agreeing with me or people honoring me for doing what I was called to do. I appreciate it, but I'm not dependent on it because I think that it is going to not only be disappointing, it is inconsequential. It does not matter. And too many of us are waiting to get a pat on the back. No, I'd rather get the results. That's the pat on the back. All right, I hear the music. I'm going to have to go. I left some on the phones and on our message board. So that means y'all got to come in first tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow. And I want you to keep the conversation and the enlightenment going. And remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.